Atomic Blonde. Rated R.
In Qualifier, match number 7 of day 1 of the Swiss format. Qualifier for the PGL Major in Krakow in just a few weeks' time. As we said, our 7th match features 2 teams who are very interesting. I'm looking forward to this one. FlipSide looking for their 8th major in a row.
Serbians involved in this game, but mostly because of FlipSide. I mean, it's been so long since we've seen these guys, you know, leading up to this tournament. I'm looking at the teams and, like, you know, who qualified, who's here. I'm like, FlipSide? Those guys still exist? Like they
just hang around. They're always there.
Yeah, they were just nowhere to be found. I mean, in some of the other tournaments. So obviously, a team that has such a good track record when it comes to major qualifiers, there are expectations when it comes to them.
And they've got their talisman in there. The man that's made all of them, Markov. He's still hanging on.
Yeah, and
giving old guys a good name.
Yeah, and they're still hoping that he's gonna find that
rejuvenate Navi.
No, alternate universe where it's gonna opt.
Oh, me! Hey, I'm totally on the Anders. Let's get Markov to warp train.
Me too.
Holy noses!
Why not, right?
Bring it back.
No, I mean, and also, I mean, Blade is someone that needs to be talked about. You know,
absolutely.
The workhorse in-game leader. We can, as Janko was saying, we haven't seen these guys for a long time, so I'm expecting a lot from FlipSide in terms of just how they approach the game, because they've always been very tactical. They've always been very methodical and just thinking before acting type of a team.
That's the thing. Like, you know, FaZe recently had a period where they had more than a month without an official game or a tournament. You know, talking to those guys, they say, yeah, it was great to have time to actually practice and work on our strategies and our map pool. But after a while, we just got bored. Like, we just wanted to play. We practiced everything that we could. We like added everything that we could think of, but we just needed to test it in a actual competitive environment. I feel like that may be a problem for FlipSide as well. Sure, they played the Adrenaline Cup thingy and you know, a couple of other games, but they haven't, you know, played something even of a level of a DreamHack Open for a very, very long time. Something that you get to play against teams of your level and a couple of higher teams where you really get to see, you know, where do we stand right now with our game.
So in a sense, I think it's a slightly scary prospect to, you know, have your debut since, you know, a long time at this kind of a tournament where it's about getting to a major, isn't it?
But they never seem to worry about that.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, and they've qualified 7 out of the last 7 majors, and there's got to be something. I mean, one of those was as a legend team, obviously, and they were poor at the E-League major. There's no doubt about that, but they somehow find a way back in.
Yeah, they do. And I mean, it's a remarkable, you know, win against NIP and in Cologne last year. No one expected that happened, which then enabled them to be the legends. And yeah, they find ways to succeed, and especially in this kind of field when it's this kind of opposition they're facing in this tournament as well. They just find ways to win.
Yeah, and we always seem to write them off, don't we? I mean, at this stage, it's kind of like, you're like, well, they've been a bit quiet and they haven't really done any results. It's probably easy
hard to judge
kind
right
of
now.
Exactly. I mean, you don't know where they are. What is easier to judge is Renegades right now, at least in terms of they've got some form, they've played some tournaments, they've won the Asia Minor, and they did so in pretty decent style in the end, although it took them a while to get going in that.
Yeah, I mean, there's issues still there if you here and there, especially second rounds seem to be a bit of a thing in Australia.
Yes.
No one's figured out how to win second rounds.
Well, they can't. They just don't win second rounds.
They just don't, do they?
Yeah.
Interesting dynamic also. They brought in Nexa to be an in-game leader for this team, but now apparently it's Nifty that's been calling. Not sure what the dynamic is right now. Nifty as well, he was playing lights out, by the way.
He was amazing in Asia Minor.
Doing some crazy stuff. So if he's both in-game leading and opping in the level that he is right now, that's a a feat that not a lot of people on this planet can actually do. And then you add the Australian trio there. Ingredients for something good. Again, this is going to be a test for this specific lineup. That's not that old either.
Yeah.
First time playing against higher tier competition.
Yeah, that's the point, isn't it? It's not that old as a lineup. Janko and Nexa, what do you make him so far?
Well, I think coming in as an in-game leader initially, I knew he was going to struggle with that because he never was in that role, even in his time in Serbia with some of the lower tier teams. So he had to adjust to that first, living in a different country and so on. But then even without the in-game leader burden, he wasn't delivering maybe up to the level that I was expecting him to, because he is a very skilled player. He's a player who can put up big numbers, even against, you know, tougher opposition and so forth. So I'm not sure if it was still an adjustment period from his